So maybe we could almost be looking at, because like yourself, you're like almost like the new kid on the block, similar to O'Hara, but different platforms. Maybe that could be a future fight when you're both holding world titles, like a big fight, you know.
all those top lads in Britain, I think there's a few of us that are all capable of winning world titles, all going down different avenues, some down WBO, some down WBA, some down like him WBC. But it's who's the world champion. It's all right saying like, oh, we're going to be world champions and all like that. These world champions who have got the belts, they're not going to just give them up. Do you know what I mean? So it's how many get to the top of the mountain and who can stay there. A lot of people fall off halfway up. Do you know what I mean? So if I'm still there at the top, we'll see who's there with me.
Yeah. You've also got the likes of Tyrone, Tommy Coyle, Josh Taylor. It's an exciting time for your division.
Yeah, there's loads of good names in the division. It's a lot of with management and promotional things that get in the way, and TV rights, and we want it on our show, we want it on our show. It's only really if like there's a belt where you both become mandatory for it and you both want it. If everyone's on the same route, on different routes, then no one really has to cross paths unless they really have to, or someone gives you a big chunk of money and say you come over to our telly. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm an ITV fighter fighting on Sky, or a Box Nation fighter fighting on Sky, or a Sky fighter fighting on ITV. Do you know what I mean? It can happen, but if it's a real 50-50 fight, everyone wants it on their home turf. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that stand in the way. Yeah,
because even Tyrone, I think he's with Frank Warren at the moment now. So if you guys were going to fight, it would be a case of which platform, purse bids, and all these.
Tyrone now, he's got one more defence of his British title.
Yeah.
If he wins that, he'll probably look to go on for something bigger. He's been around the British scene for a long time. He's won some, he's lost very little. I think if I was Tyrone Nurse, I'd probably want to progress now and get to that next level. Obviously, he hasn't had a manager or promoter for a long time. Now he's got Warren behind him. I don't see why they won't give him them opportunities. And then the British will probably go vacant if he doesn't keep hold of it. Yeah. Then the British board will put someone forward for that. So there'll be loads going on in the next 6 months. Just got to see who's winning and who's losing.
Yeah, who's
literally
standing.
It's that type of division where one person loses, boom, you're out the pack. Then there was, because it went from like 6 or 7 of us, and then there was 5, then there was 4, and it's getting littler because people have fallen off the mountain on the way up. Yeah. It's basically just going to see who's still there at the top.
It's definitely becoming one of the more exciting divisions, I'd say, in British boxing.
On paper it is, but no one's fighting each other. You know what I mean? So on paper it looks like, oh, look, imagine that fight, imagine this fight, but it's okay saying that as a fan, but as a promoter and managing things like that, it's doing what's best for your kid, what's best to progress him in his career, and what's best to put in cash in his pocket. Do you know what I mean? So only time will tell, really.
And then moving on to your division, but on the world level, as far as international fighters, you've got sitting at the top of the food chain, I'm sure most would agree, Terence Crawford, you've got Victor Postol, you've also got Adrien Broner kind of shifting between lightweight and welterweight.
Yeah, well, I got a picture with Broner and I met him in Cincinnati, and like away from the cameras, he's proper cool. Do you know what I mean? He's a sound lad, but the size difference from me to him was unbelievable. So there's no way he can't make light welter. I was bigger and taller in every way. Just even from my leg to my arms, I was just massive to him. I couldn't believe how small he was at that world level. Then like you bump into like Lamont Peterson, who has arms like a middleweight. Do you know what I mean? And to think they're on the same card, fighting at the same weight, it just, if they were to fight each other, there's only be one winner, regardless of how good the skills are. I think the size difference wouldn't half make a difference for the likes of some of them at the elite level.
So what do you think as far as Adrien Broner is concerned? Because like you said, you were in the States recently to watch Broner versus
Granados.
Yeah.
Granados.
Do you see that ever being a fight that you may have in the future, like the likes of Broner, or do you think?
Even right after the fight, I said to Neil, I'd fight that Granados.
Yeah.
Because he was just raw, but very game, you know, typical Mexican American.
Yeah.
And he was a boss lad as well to meet. But the likes of Broner, like, obviously he's got a lot of skill, but when I seen him in person, I was thinking, I don't fear you as a world champion.
Yeah.
As a 4-weight world champion, where you think, wow. And I'm watching him up close ringside. He wasn't someone where you'd look at him and think, I want to make sure I stay out of his way. Do you know what I mean? So if the fight ever came up in the future, when I was obviously a bit more progressed, a bit more experience behind me, I'd jump at that fight in a heartbeat.